Hello everyone and welcome to this first game in this winner's bracket semifinals matchup between Vinchester and Daut. We are on the map Coast to Mountain. It's an incredible map, as you can see. Let me take a look at the maps real quick. On the top you have these hills with tons of gold, tons of wood, and tons of stone. In the middle you have tons of hunt. It's very flat. Even there's a little bit of cracked terrain here too. Probably won't come into effect. The bottom, we have these acacia trees, little bit of gold, little bit of stone, and importantly, a lot of water with great fish. Water is important for the early game, not important for late game, because there's not a lot of map control to be had there. It's a very open and aggressive map, so it's going to be very difficult to wall. We saw one player wall it at some point in this tournament, but it wasn't very successful for them. And the civilizations we have Daut playing as the Goths. What? How are they both playing as the Goths? Goths wasn't a pick. I'm thoroughly confused. If someone in the chat wants to enlighten me as to why both players are playing as the Goths, maybe it's a set civilization for this. No, I've seen games where they haven't played as the Goths, so I'm thoroughly confused. But despite my confusion, I'm still pretty happy. I like Goths. Goth is one of my favorite civilizations to watch in the game, and I'm very excited for this map now. I was already excited for the players, but to see a Goths war on such an open map, that really gets me excited. Are those the settings? Oh, it's okay. Just check the rules. So apparently for this round, it's changed as far as the rules are. I was assuming we were under the old rules for the other rounds. Remember, they need at least 2 set civilizations because they banned 2 and pick 5. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. I did my math wrong. Yeah, so they banned 2 civilizations, and then out of those 5, they need 2 set civilizations. The last one is Burmese war. This is a Goths war, so I'm so excited about this. Goths, if you don't know, is my favorite civilization, especially to watch them on an open map where we might see Husks and champions. If you go champions, then that's the best unit the Goths have against like Halbs or Husks, but they're so slow that Husks will be great at raiding. Very excited for this. Then maybe we see Scorpions, oh boy. So let's take a look at where the players have decided to place their town centers. It's kind of like a nomad start. So we have Daut placing it in the middle where he'll have that one tree, and he'll have plenty of zebras, plenty of elephants, great food source, and a great start to the game. He's also not too far from his wood line, where he's also starting a wall off. So a little bit best of both here. Gold is pretty close. Taking a look at Vinchester, he's gone a little bit farther north, where his town center is on a hill. These woodcutters, they don't have to have another wood camp because they're all the way up here, but there might be less food available to Vinchester. In fact, see how far he has to walk? He's going to place a mill down here at the bottom, so that's a lot of idle time for him at that position. But at the same time, this is a little more safe, a little more secure, and Daut's going to lose his horsey! Oh no! That's the first time I've said that phrase ever. But that's not good, that's his scout. So how much scouting does Daut have right now? Not a whole lot. He's found his opponent. That's the most important thing. You figure out the rest, basically, for the map. Hasn't found the dock, though. That's pretty important. So that's not the greatest start from Daut. Let's take a look at the fish. We have 2, 3, 4, 5 fish for Vinchester. Same thing for Daut. We'll see which player is able to click up to the next age. Obviously, it's Goth War, so civilization's not going to come into effect. Daut's going to be up to the next stage. That's not surprising at all. He's got the easier access to food. And this is a pretty significant faster uptime. This is going to be a full minute. Uptimes are very important when you go water because by the time you have your fire ship out, you could maybe kill a few fishing ships before your opponent has any counter response. Vinchester just clicking up right now. 1 villager later. Again, you'd rather go up sooner. A lot of walking time here. I like Daut's town center position a little bit better for this early game. He's even going to wall this top side. So he's taking a map that is what we said was basically unwallable and has picked a great position on the map to be able to wall it and feel nice and safe. great wood saturation. Those wood lines are going to be safe for most of the game. Look at this little gold pile that he's stumbled upon. I didn't think he'd go for that one. I mean, it's a lot of idle time to walk around, but those villages are extremely safe. Villages are never this safe in Age of Empires, so they have to be pretty happy. Still 5 fishing ships for both. Daut has ran out of some of his close deep fish, so he's going to go for the short fish here. But there we go, he's already up to the next stage. Going to drop down a second dock, going to build his fire galley right away. Economy upgrades coming in. Won't have to build farms for a long time. In fact, Daut has actually way too much food. He should have a lot more wood. Maybe he should have a second dock up by now. Vinchester, is he even going to build a second dock, though? This is a little bit strange not to see Vinchester build a second dock. You're basically forfeiting the water if you're not going to go for a second dock. In fact, I see no fire galleys out. Oh my gosh! Vinchester's going for a fast castle. I never would have thought he'd go for a fast castle. Completely off guard. Stable blacksmith has the resources for it. He went up one villager later than Daut. Just one villager later. And remember, Daut has all this extra food. So he's kind of a little bit in no man's land. But this is still going to be a heavy blow for Vinchester if he's not able to keep his fishing ships alive. It's like 5 villagers down early game. More fire galleys coming out. We'll see if Vinchester wants to contest this. He's going to build a fire galley. Normally what you do is you try to go for your opponent's fish with the fire galleys, but with the new balance, the fire ships do 2/3 less damage. So it takes quite a while to get them down. Daut exploring a little bit. Vinchester made a single scout to help scout the map. 2 scouts, in fact. Oh, and this is very interesting. Daut gonna go up with the stable too. Gonna pick off that villager, great. Now the Goths, good thing about the Goths, they get cheaper spearmen. So Daut might want to pump out the spearmen. Daut, again, is fully walled, so not like these knights should kill him. I might wall in the town center, to be quite honest. But Daut shouldn't be too far behind. Yeah, not too far behind. Gonna pick off those fishing ships. Vinchester trying to get that fishing ship. Might get it, but might lose his fire galley in the process. Not a great trade. And Daut should be up in just a minute, as those fishing ships get their last little bit of food. And I think this should be the last villager for Daut. I would discontinue production after this. Especially because you're housed. There we go, Castle Age coming in. Knights will be pumping out. Knights will be pumping out anytime now. Oh, town center. Okay, interesting. Certainly, adding a town center this early will prevent you from making a whole lot of knights. They both cost food for villagers. Here we go. So Vinchester with no fish. Daut with 9 fish. He's actually added fishing ships. Interesting game we have so far. I don't know whose position I'll take. Daut has a much stronger economy. He'll be able to do a lot more once he gets into the Castle Age. But Vinchester already has a monastery up. And it already is going up with the Siege Workshop. Has the second town center up at home. I kind of question, if you're going to go full aggression, you're going to go Monastery, Siege Workshop, Stable at minute 15. Do you really need a second town center right now? Do you have the resources for that? I don't think so, to be quite honest. I mean, there's 2 farms here. These villagers are idle. We'll keep an eye on Vinchester's food count. Smartly, Daut has walled in his map. He's a very smart player. Say what you want about his APM, but Daut is one of the smartest players there is. Oh, that scout got him. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you want to keep them running efficiently. You always want to use your resources efficiently. You would know you're an arena player, so I'm sure you're in these situations all the time. Say what you want about deaf people. Alright, Mangonel's out. These are only Palisade walls. The Goths only get Palisade walls. It's a big problem of theirs. Oh, but that Knight's gonna get trapped. Good 2 hits. Gonna hit mostly his own Spearman. Why'd he even get that Knight? Poor micro from Vinchester. Not what you need at this critical stage of the game. First point in the game where micros become critical. Daut could be forced off one of his wood lines. Gonna add a town center as well. Now, Dad has more food to work with, so I don't question that as much. He's got those fishing ships alive. He's, in fact, got 13 fishing ships. These monks are certainly going to be a problem. Could get a conversion here. What are you doing, Daut? What are you doing? Run away. Oh, that was so lucky. Those monks could have got a conversion if the luck factor was in there. If the luck factor was there. Daut gonna switch over to scouts now that there's a lot of monks here, but Vinchester has added spearmen. Great choice, especially as the civilization. As you can see, Vinchester doesn't have enough food to keep his town centers running, so I would have stayed one town center a little bit longer. But Daut might not have a town center to work with. Eventually he's gonna oh wow, look at this! Look at this! Daut, do something! Oh, that momentary hesitation, though. Okay, got 1 monk. That's a good trade. But that town center is definitely going down, unless Daut wants to act right now. Here he goes. Two knights coming out. Only 3 knights, though. Gonna go for the monk right away. Will it get a conversion? It did. It did. That's huge. You get the 2nd and 3rd mangonel. That knight is gonna go down very quickly. Very close. All the mangonels are down, but there's no town center for Daut. Daut is on no town centers. That's not the first time I've said that, interestingly. I've definitely said that before about Daut, though. And at this point, look at this, though. 3 town centers versus 0. Oh, it's 1. He's got 1 here, but... Still, 3 town centers versus 1. That's not very good. So Vinchester's aggression paying off. Got the conversion when he needed to. Oh, man. You look stupid when you lose a mangonel like that. So I'm saying how great your micro is. Knight's gonna get in, though. Daut a little slow to wall it. We'll get that house up in time, but gonna lose another mangonel. Now, if you're Vinchester, you love this position. Just boom at home. And keep Daut in this small little area. What an upset. Not really that much of an upset, but like a little bit of an upset for me anyway, if Vinchester would take this first game. Especially not competing for water. That is the most interesting part about this. So economies right now, Daut is actually getting more resources. Keep that in mind. He's got more fishing ships out. Doesn't have to build villagers, but in a few minutes, Vinchester should have a much better economy. As he booms up on 3 town centers. And hole here. How did the hole get there? Okay, house gonna be built. A castle! Look at this little base that Daut has. Daut is about to bust out, though. Gill nets being done. That's gonna be great for his economy. Gill nets means that the fishing ships gather 25% faster. Great for late game, especially if you can place a dock here. If you place a dock there, it's all worth it. What Melkor taught me, don't add TCs even if you can afford it if you're trying to push. You need the mental attention. Yeah, it takes a lot of attention to go back to your town centers to keep them running. So, right now, 10 villager advantage for Vinchester. Remember, Daut does have a lot of fishing ships still working pretty well. So it's all up to these Huskarl raids now to even up that villager disadvantage. Now, what's the best thing against Huskarls? Monks are decent, but they're going to be too slow. Definitely too slow against the Huskarls. So back at home, we either need to see a counter castle. These raids trying to slow down Vinchester a little bit. Vinchester is on stone, but he is nowhere near a castle. Has 800 gold. This were me, I'd buy a castle. Because you're about to get hit really hard with Huskarl raids. Best thing to do against that is probably have a castle of your own. Have your own Huskarls, especially if you have a better economy. And there we go. Market's going to come down. We need to see a little bit of urgency. Maybe a little bit of walling. to slow down those Husks. What happened to those villagers down there? I'd like to see Daut add another dock. That would be very great for his economy. The villager disadvantage now up to almost 20. Where is Vinchester going? What are you doing? You are not in a position to be building a forward castle. I think that's what that's for. Or a forward house. That is the worst position to place a forward house in. What is so special about that house? What do you... Vinchester, react! React, man! Convert! Okay, or run away. Okay, the Husks have terrible sight, though, so they're not going to see those villagers. There we go. I didn't see the little thing on the top left, but Vinchester had to buy that castle. And in fact, even building a few militia. I'm not exactly sure what the resources are for anarchy, but I would heavily consider that in Vinchester's position if he had the resources for it. Right now, Vinchester just needs to survive this first raid. Very interesting that he's going for men-at-arms right now. He's going to be going for Husks, and Husks should be stronger than men-at-arms. Gilnet's fishing ships are halfway between efficient farmers with wheelbarrow and handcart. Still a big bonus. Still a big bonus considering how many there are. Also depends on the distance between the fish. And I assume you mean in raw gather rate. Yeah, these walls are going to be very hard. That's a great thing that Mangano came forward. Oh, Vinchester, if you could pick that off, you could re-wall behind. That wall's going to go down. Husks, remember, infantry for the Goths, +1 attack versus buildings. Not to mention they have an inherent attack bonus versus buildings. For the infantry. And that one might go down very shortly. Vinchester just starting to queue up some more Husks now. Might have enough to defend, though. And that's all he needs to do. To defend, he's got a 10 villager advantage. Now, we'll run out of fish pretty soon. Convert! Alright, Husks going to clean up, but... Still converting. Taking a long time to convert. One conversion coming down. And that looks like it's enough to defend for now. More Husks are coming out across the map. +1/+1 done. Vinchester with only +1. That guy's going to go 1 on 3. A few men-at-arms stuck in the castle, I would use them. Here they are. So Vinchester doing enough to defend. Villager count has been, well, relatively consistent at 15. 15 advantage for Vinchester. Very back and forth game. It's hard for me to tell who has the advantage at most parts of the game. Let's take a look at Daut's economy at home. Triple town centers in the same screen. Interesting. Interesting. 4 town centers. When you're Goths, you really gotta boom. You gotta boom hard. These units cost a lot of food. See if these monks get away. Yeah, and they're gonna get in the town center. Vinchester had a heavy score disadvantage, but a lot of that is due to the KD ratio. KD ratio doesn't mean a whole lot some of the time. Age of Empires is a very macro-oriented gameplay. So Daut's score is a little bit inflated in my opinion. As well, it might be inflated by all these fishing ships, which are really not doing a whole lot. As we said, the water is very important early game, but not important late game. Now, I'm a little bit curious if it is worth seeding up some fish traps with those gill nets. Fishing ships. Takes a lot of attention, unfortunately. Vinchester's had 3 relics this whole time. Wow. That's got to be a good amount of gold for him. And look at his gold that he's floating. Second castle for Daut. I don't understand why second castles are necessary for the Goths, though. You just need the castle for your unique tech and your unique unit. Imperial Age for Daut. Vinchester, Imperial Age, almost the same time. Within 10 seconds of each other. And both of them, interestingly, just huddled in their corners. I think they want to do that because, obviously, it's less angles you have to worry about as far as raiding. We mentioned before how open this map is. So right now we're headed into a Huskar war. Oh, you meant from fish traps. Okay. Oh, they're not that bad. I mean, if you had them lying around, I would do 1 layer of fish traps and then eventually get up to your 120 villager, you know, goal. I guess with Goths might be 130, 140 villagers. Because they need all that extra food. So both players should continue to boom here. They need to get to at least 120, maybe 130 villagers. Remember, the Goths' population cap is set at 210. As well, they can build very fast, so you need a lot of villagers with a lot of resources coming in. Both players upgrading their Huskar armies makes sense. Champions doesn't make a whole lot of sense here. Yes, they're great against Huskars, but you're never going to be able to catch them. Okay, maybe I'll stand corrected as Vinchester has chosen the Longswordsman. If you're going Longswordsman champion, wall in your map. Both players, interestingly, have a second castle. So wall here, wall here. Not a whole lot you can do here. You can maybe wall between the barracks. But then again, this is Palisade Wall too, so that's not really going to stand too long. Alright, so we have a Huskar versus Longswordsman trade. You count the fishing ships, the economies are pretty even, so this will be a pretty good demonstration of which is better on a pretty open map. To go into champions or to go into Huskars. And of course it depends on the micro as well, how the players decide to use them. Vinchester might lose all of them right here, because he's gone too far into Daut's line of sight. Champ plus hand cannon, yeah, it's pretty good. Probably won't see heavy scorpions. Alright, here comes that big Huskar raid. Those two-handed swordsmen are, well, they're kind of raiding. This is not exactly what you call raiding. They're kind of going after the town centers, but they're not here to defend. So this might be a pretty devastating raid from Daut. Luckily, there's those 2 castles to help out, though. And with that production speed, enough two-handed swordsmen to defend. Meanwhile, Daut's going to lose the town center. Not the biggest deal in the world. Can't kill too many villagers because these two hands are pretty slow. But Daut losing 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 villagers. And that's certainly better than nothing. Meanwhile, Daut's taking a very efficient trade here against the two hands. Inscription, guilds. Guilds is a nice tech to get early Imperial Age. Here's the market prices here. Wood's been sold quite a bit. And both players defending from their raids, albeit Daut taking more damage. Vinchester, 30 villagers ahead. That's a big deal. That's a very big deal. Turn around and fight that, Vinchester. I think you'd win that. I'm not going to turn around and fight it. Okay, champion upgrade in for Vinchester. So champions, I think they get like +2 attack versus Huskars. Or +3, something like that. They inherently have more attack. They have 1 more melee armor. And very importantly, they are cheaper. They are cheaper than the Huskar. You get more bang for your buck in one-on-one fights. But again, the key to the Huskar is that raiding potential. Daut upgrading padded archer armor. I think I saw chemistry, so we'll see some hand cannons. Huskars are better against hand cannons. Champions are very vulnerable against hand cannons. So maybe we'll see Onager. Vinchester going to try to push forward, but you don't want to lead with your trebs. You want your trebs to be behind your army. And Daut will definitely win this. Vinchester might even lose these trebuchets with the speed of the Huskars. Those hand cannons are... they're really beasts against champions. Really helps to even up the disparity. Now there's a lot of hand cannons on the field. But this will be great if Vinchester can take out a castle. Daut's going to repair it, but only with a few villagers. I would use more. Champion numbers are overwhelming. This can happen sometimes. You try to go hand cannons, but there are just too many champions. Megano's going to try to take out those trebs, but that's a worthwhile engagement, even if Vinchester goes back for now. Taking out a castle is great. Stone is very valuable late game. Down at the bottom, we do see fishing traps. We do see fishing traps. But the champions took out the dock, so that's a big waste. But Daut is, you know, that's really going to boost his economy. It's going to boost him from like 100 villager economy to 110. But Vinchester population is skyrocketing. He's at 125 villagers, very comfortable with that. 60 military. I wonder if Vinchester's considering something to counter these hand cannons, though, or he's just going to go straight champions, just push into the hand cannons. I think that's... No, these are... Okay, Vinchester adding Husks. Yeah, I like that decision a lot, but that's a lot of hand cannons. Elite Husks being done. Alright, so Vinchester, he's going to choose basically not to engage the hand cannons, but try to raid around. The hand cannons have to stay grouped up. Otherwise, you're just going to lose them. So Vinchester's going to say to himself, this is a very open map. I don't have to fight the hand cannons. I could go around the hand cannons and try to raid with Husks. And that's working great for him. Daut at 65 villages. This is game. This is game. Vinchester's going to take the first game. Unless Daut could do some magic with these hand cannons. Oh, I don't know. Husks as well get an attack bonus versus hand cannons as if they were archers. But this is game. 50 villages for Daut. Unless those Gilnet's fishing traps are working overtime, this is game. And I'm a little surprised that champion play really worked out. When those Husks went for the raid for Daut, they just went into a wall of two-handed swordsmen. They were created too quickly for Daut to do any great raiding with that. And yeah, Daut, he has to know he can't come back from this. He's probably looking at his population and thinking he has more villagers than he actually does. He's got about 50 hand cannons. So if you're in a Daut's position, you need to get back up to 100 villagers. It's going to take a very long time. And try to wall yourself up a bit. So many hand cannons for Daut. Oh my gosh. The approaching troll levels of hand cannons. So the thing is, though, these hand cannons are not really replaceable. If you have this kind of economy, let's take a look at Daut's resources. You're okay. You're okay. Gold is the big problem here. And what else can he say? I mean, how is Daut going to push out, though? How is he going to go in aggressive? Up to 50 villagers now. Vinchester's up to almost 140. Vinchester could even go up by 30 population before he reaches his pop cap, even stealing the gold of Daut. I don't think Vinchester's low on gold, but I think he just wants to steal. He's got gold there. Maybe a little low on gold. Yeah, there we go. Has to move towards the south for some gold, but he's safe there. No problem with that. And this is just a good trade for Vinchester. Every hand cannon you can get is worth so much to Daut. So just keep spamming Husks in there and you'll be fine. Down to 30 villagers. Down to 30 villagers. Is Daut going to win this without villagers? So the lowest I've seen Daut on villagers at this stage of the game has been 8. And I have a game of that on my channel. But he had a teammate for that game. So they ended up winning that. Without a teammate, I don't think you can win on 28 villagers against the Goth spam. This will be the most incredible comeback if I've ever seen it. Vinch is on form. Yeah, Vinch is on form. Remember, he was a top 5 player when he was on form. And Daut is a very tough opponent right now. Daut is on form too, I think. Or at least not for this game. This game was fairly close until this moment, actually. So impressive victory from Vinchester. Daut is going to go till the last hand cannon. And Daut is out of gold. He's out of gold. He's out of food. Can't make any more hand cannons. There's the GG. Down to the last hand cannon. Alright, that's going to be the first game. Impressive victory from Vinchester. Vinchester plays like this. Going to be a beast in this tournament. I would love to see him in the finals. To be quite honest, I'm really rooting for him. Seeing him and Leary, the two youngsters. But yeah, let's go on to the second game.